I hear constantly about low appraisals in our market, talking with real estate agents and loan officers, investors. I even had a neighbor come to my house the other day while I was doing a yard sale, and she brought an appraisal of her house and said, "What's going on with this?" And so today I wanted to offer some tips for challenging a low appraisal. Now, when I say low, I'm not talking about value that came in lower than the sales price, because we all know that value and price are two different things. Sometimes value really is lower. I'm talking about an appraisal that's just plain and simply botched, a bad job. Maybe the appraiser really didn't know the market, whether coming from out of town or an appraiser 2 streets from that property. And so these are bad situations, and I hope these tips will be helpful. You can also click on the link below the video or scan the QR code on the screen right now to take you to a blog post with some of these tips. Okay, so here goes. Number one, you want to put it in writing. This is not a college dissertation, but think 1 page. Address your support and your letter for reconsideration to the lender, and then just go point by point, make systematic points, and sign it at the bottom. This is really a request for reconsideration, okay? You don't want to just call and say, I'm feeling really bad about this appraisal, I really don't like it, the appraiser did a bad job, because even though your emotions might be that way, that doesn't do anything to propel the conversation forward. Look, you may or may not get results, but this is the best way to try, in my opinion, and I've seen success with my clients trying using this format that I coach them on. Number two, be specific. You want to provide specific support for why the value opinion is not correct in the appraisal. Okay, so pick it apart. Look at the comps and say, comp 1 was a distressed sale, and it appears to have sold in 2 days, and here's another 2 properties that are traditional sales, and why did the appraiser not consider these? Or comp 2 backs to a railroad, and I don't understand why did the appraiser not adjust for that? That's a pretty bad market condition, and most buyers would be negatively impacted by that. And you can begin to look at all those things and bring in what you know about the neighborhood too, especially if it's a situation where the neighborhood boundaries are really tight, or it makes a very big difference if you cross that street or freeway, park boundary, or something to where values are significantly less. Then you need to bring in your market expertise and your knowledge of the market for those features. Okay, sometimes appraisers miss things. Sometimes appraisers are just incompetent. Sometimes just an honest mistake. So bring in what you know, and that can help things. But particularly if you have more comparable properties, other sales that the appraiser didn't consider, I think that's huge to come in, because a lot of appraisers, if a mistake is made, no one wants to admit that a mistake is made. And granted, if the appraiser did make an improper adjustment, the appraiser really should go back and say, you know what, after considering this data, you're right, I blew it. I really should have adjusted, because this was a distressed sale, and I just reconciled value low because of that, or in words somewhat like that. But no one wants to admit when they're wrong. But I think that philosophically it can actually help an appraiser to see a different point of view and from a different vantage point in the market. If you say, here are 2 other comparable sales for the appraiser's consideration, and again, you're not saying here's 2 comps that you need to use, you're saying here's two comparable sales for your consideration. I will say this, no pressure. Make sure that you're not pressuring the appraiser towards a certain value. What you're asking for a reconsideration based upon evidence that you're showing in the market and a critique of the appraisal. And really remember that the appraiser's job is not to meet a sales price or not to meet a certain level for a loan to work. The appraiser's job is to discover market value and really uncover that in a way in the report where it makes sense. Be humble, let's say, because you might be wrong. The appraiser could definitely be right. And even if you don't agree with the way the appraiser came up with the value, look at the bottom line value, because sometimes the report, there could really be some things wrong with it, wrong comps used, wrong adjustments, but if the value's right, then why argue with something, even if the methodology wasn't that great? Be professional. Play nice. That's always a good thing to do in business, and it reflects well upon you. And no one wants to listen when there's name calling going on or someone's just really agitated. That's just not easy to work with for anyone. So make sure to do that. I'd say ask pointed questions. You can ask the appraiser to explain certain adjustments or or things that were done in the report, and I think that's completely valid and completely good, and shows humility on your part too. Say, why did the appraiser choose Comp 1? It's located, south of this road, and that's a major neighborhood boundary in the area. Can the appraiser please explain that? And then you would go on and explain, here's a reason why in this market properties do sell for more right here in this neighborhood. I'd say bullet points, be systematic in your presentation. Just try to really limit your language and say, point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The ones that are most important up on top, and keep going down. I have some formatting suggestions and some other suggestions for going through this process, and you can definitely scan the QR code right now on the screen because I think that'll help you. But ultimately, I think just this can be a very frustrating thing, and many people feel like, I wish I didn't have to do this. It's so discouraging. I shouldn't have to. I feel like I have to go and educate an appraiser who did a bad job. But that's the way of the market, and all we can do is roll with it and be prepared to put together these types of letters to ask an appraiser to reconsider a value. Okay, so that's the way it is. I didn't create it. I didn't make it. I'm not happy about that. But hopefully appraisers will do a good job, and hopefully you'll find some success if an appraisal really is low. So if you have any questions, give me a call, 916-595-3735 or sacramentoappraisalblog.com. Thanks so much. Take care.